Peace and blessings, everyone. Yesterday, I had to take my youngest son up to a job he has. He's an actor. He's actually working on Heroes, and in going up there, taking him up there, I ran into some situations which appeared was going to cause us to be late, and the thought came to mind, man, if there was ever a situation where it appeared that it was meant for something to happen, it seemed like it was meant for us to be late that day. Even though technically we weren't late, we were there right on time. There at the location, but late in signing in. But anyway, because he had forgot to get us to obtain the schoolwork, so he could do there when you're on shoot, when you're an actor, you have to go to school every day there at the location. So you have to bring some work to complete, and he didn't get to work. So I took him up to school to get his work, and as soon as he walked in the building, they had a fire drill. So it means that everybody had to be taken out of school, and then they went to the playgrounds and had to stand out there for however long. So it took about 15, I guess at least 15 minutes for all that to get done for him to get his work and come out. So that was putting us behind. Then I had to go to the gas station to get some gas. So I get there, pull up, jump out, go to pay for it, reach my pocket. I didn't have my license or anything on me, or I have a little case where I carry my license and my debit cards and all that. This little thing. So I didn't have it sold. I mean, I had to go back home to get that, and then I still had to go back to the gas station. So anyway, like I said, we ended up making it on time there, but late to sign in. But it didn't matter at the end of the day. But like I said, so the issue came up about fate, and divine intervention, as you will, and that whole concept. And I don't believe in fate, in the sense that there's an intellectual being behind that wants things to happen. I'm saying things happen for a reason. I believe things happen for a reason, but once again, not in the sense that there is a God, an intellectual God that has reasons for doing everything. Everything happens for a reason, because within this realm of our existence, there's always a cause and effect. So, my son, us being late technically was because of, one, my son not getting his work. Two, his teachers forgetting to have the work ready for him, because then after they got done with the fire drill, his teacher still had to get the work together, which should have been already put together. And three, because of me forgetting my stuff, and so on. And so there's always the truth behind everything. There's a reason, and the reason is the truth, and there can be a plethora of things, of small things even within that can break things down. And so I want to show a little bit and show exactly, how, with every decision and choice you make, I believe, you are setting on a course for something to happen. Because also, for everything that can happen or will happen, it is only fate in that sense. Those things that will happen, and what decides that is the choices that you make and everyone makes, and the conditions and of this world and everything. Everything has a part in what happens in your life. It's almost like every decision everybody makes in some way affects everybody else around the world. It's sort of like the butterfly effect. A butterfly flaps his wings over one side of the world and it causes a hurricane on the other. It's sort of like that, because our life is so intertwined in that way. We can't escape it. we're intertwined in truth, and we can't escape truth. And so there's always a cause and effect. Even like I said, even a minor one, it there's a path there. It might not be an effect that has, to a detriment or something, but there is an effect. It means a decision was made to go one path instead of another, and where that one path led could have caused something else to happen, will lead to another path, another. The choice to go another way, another decision creates a different path, and things could happen different in that path. And what another person does could end up connecting to your path, and so it's just almost an infinite number of possibilities and paths in our life as we exist, to where things could happen, where we could say it's meant to happen, where it's fate. And so here's a little bit of my life and how things could have happened for me where I am currently. Back when I was in high school, I planned to join the Army. That was my plan. I was going to join the Army and go to get a scholarship, because in ROTC, get a scholarship, join the Army, and go to college. Go to college and go into the Army as an officer. But the day that I went down to take my test to join the Army, my asthma acted up. And my asthma hadn't acted up in I don't know how long. Now, why did it act up? Well, the night before I had to go take all my tests for the Army, it had rained. And so I believe it was a rain that caused my asthma to act up. Well, my asthma acted up. I went there to take the test, and as soon as they heard me wheezing in my chest, they rejected me and said I couldn't join the Army. And so thus, if it hadn't rained, then my asthma wouldn't acted up. I believe the rain was the cause, and I would have been in the Army, which it took my life down the current path where I am now. I might not be nowhere near where I am now. It would have took me down a different path. But because it happened, it didn't happen. So now, after I was rejected, I couldn't join, then my choice was to not join the military, which would took me down different life's paths. I could have, whatever I would have done after that. I even thought about joining the police force back at home in Dayton, Ohio, and even thought about going to ITT Technical Institute. I was actually enrolled to go there, but I changed my mind. So it would have took me down these other paths. I could have joined the Navy. They contacted me later, but I didn't. I could have joined the Air Force, and I was. And actually, then they found out about me failing the test up here at the Army, my asthma test, and so they rejected me. But once again, if I would have been able to go in, it would took me on a different path. Now, then the Marines contacted me and told me they didn't care about my asthma, and so I joined the Marines. Now, my options there and joining the Marines, is this shadow messing it up? Now, then what do you have with joining the Marines or the services? Well, for one, you take an ASVAB, take a military test, written test, so like SATs, and it's to gauge your mental abilities, what you know, and from your score, they give you options of different jobs you can have, which is called MOSs, military occupation specialties. Well, I had a high score, so I was able to go almost any and everything. Now, there are hundreds of MOSs, so you have all these choice of decisions. Yes? Can I have some of the Dr. Pepper? Can't you wait till I'm done? And so you have all these choices, and with all these choices, you have decisions, which takes you down a path. And then within these choices, or where you decide to go, there's these different stations where you can be stationed, different places around the globe where you can be stationed, which takes you down a different path. And when you get to that station, then there's a personnel there that may affect what happens to you. And then there's there's people there at station, the friends that you can make, and with those friends, there's activities that you engage with, and the things you do, the locations you go. That's up to the locations you go. And then, the people you meet at these locations. And the reason I circle people is because within each person, and going back to your friends, once again, their being there is because of the decisions they made, and which could have been affected by things such as this that happened to me. Something could happen to them in their life where they could have went to one of the other branches, but they end up being at the same location as you, and different things. And there's all these different paths. I mean, and I got right here that could have happened. Like there's hundreds of MOSs, so there's all those different paths I could have taken that was possible, what could have affected where my life currently is. So the people met, it's because my friends. We always hung out, we're always rolling, and we went to Burger King a lot. And there's at Burger King where my wife, my wife now, she was working there, where she had made a decision and things happened in her life where she ended up working at Burger King, and I met her, and which eventually, life goes on, and now we have 4 kids, and currently going on the 5th one. And so every time you make a decision, that's what fate is. That it leads to the possibility of what your fate is going to be based on the decisions you make, and it just leads the paths and builds a new one and a new one and a new one and a new one and a new one. And that's all fate is. It's just that which can happen will happen. When you head down this path, it's going to happen. And so every day, like I said, every little thing, if it's just something minor as you decide to change lanes while you're driving down the freeway. I mean literally, someone had decided, well, I'm going to move over one more lane. They gone over a lane and they hit a nail. The nail blew out the tire. They pulled over to the side of the road, and while they was on the side of the road trying to fix the tire, another car came by and ran into them and killed them. If they hadn't moved over to a lane, they wouldn't have hit that nail. They wouldn't have been on the side of the road. And then how the nail got there? Maybe the nail came off a truck and somebody. So every time a decision made, it starts reaction, and it starts us down the path to our fate, if you will. Now, fate is only that which is going to happen will happen. All right. God bless everyone. Peace and love.